Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius. Today's the 27th of September, 2023. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at markets, a view of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we go further, as always, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. Now then, guys, let's jump into the charts. Let's see what's happening here on our indices. That's Nikkei is the first one that I want to pick up here, and I always do. Look, Nikkei did drift lower initially. I mean, in general, yesterday we saw some declines in the market. And everybody's like very bearish, and like everybody's thinking that that we will see further declines. Look, I am being very, very careful with this because yesterday I've talked about this, and I said to you that, look, yes, the logical thing is to see some further declines. However, whenever something is very straightforward, I'm kind of starting to doubt it. Maybe it's just my personal kind of, my personality, that I doubt all the time everything. But because I have been proven right a few times, so I don't know if this is going to be the case. But look, in any way, what I saw here is I saw Nikkei drifting lower, falling below the 100-day EMA, but now as you can see that it's trying to get back above it. And we saw some positivity here, and yes, it's trying to get back into the upside. Look, in general, my theory was that if we do drop and stay below the 100-day EMA, this increases the chances for a further decline. Well, it kind of does still, but today we're seeing this, like I said, this strong reversal to the upside. Look, these are the futures that I'm talking about. Once, this is closed now. And if I do see, let's say, the European session and then the US session today going into the red further, then certainly that could raise a few issues. So for now, long story short, look, although there is a chance for this one to drift lower and higher, well, as always, to be honest, not something new that I'm saying here, but the fact that it climbed back above the 100-day EMA, yes, it kind of increases the chances for a push higher. However, as I said before, my preferred scenario for the upside is from around this 50-day EMA. If I get that push, then yes, I'll go a little bit to the upside. For the downside, I need to see it drop below the 100-day EMA, and then we'll take it from there. China 50. So not much to say here, to be honest. In general, excuse me, China is struggling right now because apparently, reports are coming out saying that China's industrial profits dropped to kind of 11.7%. Let me just double check this number. Yep. Minus 11.7. There was no, I can see that there was no forecast, but the previous number is at minus 15.5. So yeah, let me see if I can open the economic calendar very quickly. So yeah, oh, this is already gone. Okay, removed it. But anyway, now. The thing that what's bothering me here is, look, I'm struggling to kind of get comfortable with either of the sides, either the upside or the downside. So for the upside, I need to see a push above the 12,721 territory, approximately around there. Still, I need that push. If I get that, great. Potentially more buyers could join in here. But for the downside, I need to see a drop below this upside line here. I've mentioned already this from the beginning of this week, so basically not much has changed. ASX 200, similar story, but this one is a little bit more interesting because I've talked about this as a possible bearish flag. On Friday, I talked about this one, and we were kind of, drifting a little bit higher here. So that's fine. I mean, look, on Monday, we pushed further north here, but then we found resistance somewhere around here near that 7,128 zone, and then we reversed sharply to the downside. Look, at this point, I would say if you want to see some lower levels, then a drop below the 7,040 territory would be required. So this is something that I'm still monitoring. Yes, we already got this morning such a move, but it was a false breakout. So it's not really working out well. That's why I am keeping a close eye on this little hurdle. Still, if we get a drop below it again, then yes, I will go further south. But at this point, look, there is also a fear that maybe it could reverse back up. But if somehow the indices do push, somehow do get that buying interest from somewhere. But at this point, I think that everybody's so spooked that, nobody wants to jump into stocks at the moment. However, look, I do believe that there are opportunities in stocks. So, and the fact that we are running into the holiday season kind of right now, I get it. The people's spending is on its low, right? I mean, people are not. I don't think that people will spend much this going into this Christmas, going into this new year. However, it could still, give a boost to some stocks. But again, we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, look, at this point, with ASX 200, I'm keeping an eye on these two barriers. So let's see which one's going to break first. Oh, and by the way, in terms of Australia, look, one of the reasons why it also dropped lower like this is because we got a number from Australia, the weighted mean CPI figure from Australia, which actually came out as expected at 5.2. But that's bad because the previous number was at 4.9. So basically, yeah, I think that the fear here now is that they believe that RBA might go for a rate hike again in order to kind of maintain inflation, because inflation is creeping up higher slowly. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So there we go. Big sell-off yesterday. The Dow lost around 1.14. The S&P lost around 1.47, and the Nasdaq 1.57. So yeah, Dow Jones was the kind of the least loser in this, but either way, it still drifted lower. Look, it fell below my target, this 34,063. I said to you that if we do fall below this, my next target is around here, somewhere near that 33,800. Well, tick. Okay, good result here. Now my question is, can we go further south? Well, for that, I need to see a drop below that 33,800 zone. And if I do get that, then I'll aim for, where's my horizontal ray? I'll aim for this little hurdle right here, which is way too fat here, so I need to slim it down a little bit. So there we go, this 33,450 zone. So if I get that drop below the 33,800, then yes, I will consider a move towards this little hurdle right here. Now, for the upside. Now, this is where I previously talked about these levels here, the 50 and the 100-day EMA. But of course, given that we have shifted a little bit more to the downside, actually, if we do climb back above the 200-day EMA, then yes, I will consider a move back to the upside. So for now, I am keeping an eye on this 200-day EMA, and yes, if we do somehow climb back above it, then yeah, I'll consider, like I said, a move higher. In general, as I said before, that everybody's not really having fun with the stock market right now, because only the sellers, I think, are having fun. but the bulls are suffering. But as I said, that there's not. I don't think that there are. Like I said, running into this holiday season, holiday period, I don't think that there are bad stocks. So not all of them are good, but I think there are still some good ones. And I get it. The market is spooked a little bit because, or I should say, investors are spooked a little bit because, because of these little things here. So like the treasury, government bonds, where the yield right now is around 5%. So on a 2-year bond, so that's where people are thinking like, why the hell I need to jump into stocks when I can get a little bit less, but something like that. So that's why I would say at this point, maybe that's what's driving the sell-off right now. However, if at the moment maybe it might stay like this, maybe it could even go a little bit higher, but eventually, if judging from the Fed projections, they are ready to cut rates going into next year. Well, if that's the case, then we could see this, the drifting back to the downside here. So that's why maybe the stock market could become again the interesting bit. But this is where the thing is that if that's the expectation that the Fed will go and cut rates next year, maybe the perfect opportunity to jump in is right now. But again, that's not for sure. That's not sure. We're not sure about that yet. Maybe there's some more headwinds which we need to consider. And of course, the one main headwind is this one right there, where we are expecting another hike by the end of this year. So maybe it could come around December time. I don't think it's going to happen in November. I think that it's going to happen more in December, because November is basically just around the corner. So there's 1 month to go. What's there to go? So where's the 13th of December? Let's say from the 1st of November to the 13th of December is like a month and a half. So okay, let's see how that's going to play out. But looking at the technical picture of the S&P 500. We are seeing a nice little hold up near that 200-day EMA. That's fine. That's what I said to you before, that if we do drop below this territory, my next target is the 200-day EMA. If that gets cleared, then yes, I'll go further south. So in terms of the arrow here, I don't have a clear level, as you can see. That's why I had it the way I had it here. Now, in order to maybe consider a next target here, could be this 4,262, good potential target, but for that I need to see a drop below the 200-day EMA. In terms of the upside, I would say the problem here is if we do get that push above the 4,375, then yes, great. Potentially could attract more buyers into the game. We could see a push towards the 100 or the 50-day EMAs right there. And then we'll take it from there. NASDAQ 100. NASDAQ 100 is something that I'm keeping a close eye on. And at the moment, we did break the lower side of this triangle pattern, or wedge, I would say. But that's fine. Look, maybe it wasn't even a triangle pattern. Well, I had it here because previously it was kind of working out. Now we violated this territory, so maybe actually we can get rid of this upside line and just stick to this downside line, and life would be easier. But of course, life is never easy, especially in the markets here. So if you're looking for some higher levels, I think maybe a push above this 14,955 territory would be ideal. By the way, these are what I'm looking at here are all future indices, so futures. So yeah, at the moment, like I said, it's this is the situation here. So if you're looking for some lower levels, don't forget to target this current low, or not the current, but the lowest point of August. You're this 14,610. Let's round it up here a little bit. But if that gets cleared, the forthcoming lower low will be confirmed, and my next target is the 200-day EMA. For the upside, as I said, the 14,955 is something that I'm keeping a close eye on. The German index DAX. So yesterday we saw a major, a big sell-off. So yes, the market didn't like the bulls disappeared. Basically, the sellers stepped in, and in general, look, it worked out nicely. I talked about this. I said to you that if we do drop and stay below that 200-day EMA or this 15,511 zone, then yeah, I will go further south. And at the moment, everything seems to be working out nicely here. We found good support near the 15,340 level here, which is marked by the inside swing high of the 24th of March. So in a way, we're going to be watching this one again, see if we can clear it. If we can, then great. I will go lower towards that psychological 15,000 mark. I think that it's on everybody's mind. The psychological 15,000 zone. Ideally, again, like I said, that's what I would like to see. But again, I'm not rushing into things. I'm just going slowly, especially with market conditions as they are right now, when anything can quickly change. It can easily change the direction. And yep, this is how a lot of bears could get, caught out, can get in that bear trap. Yeah, I wanted to say that. FTSE 100. FTSE 100. Oh, by the way, before I go further, good morning, everyone. Yep, good morning, everyone in the chat room. Good morning, everyone who's tuning in right now. I hope you're having a wonderful start of Wednesday, guys. So yeah, look, I mean, so far so good with the FTSE 100. We did drift lower. We stayed below the 7,700 zone. I talked about it. So we stayed below it. So now my next target is the 7,611 territory right there. Okay, that's all fine. That's all good. But again, look, I'm taking a very careful approach. I'm cautiously bearish in the short run because in general, this move lower could still be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. So basically, in other words, something like this. As long as this upside line remains intact, drawn from the low, the 18th of August, then yes, we could still see maybe an up move here. Maybe this formation here is something like a nice bullish flag here. We have our pole, we have our little correction here, like a nice big flag. So let's see if that's going to be the case. But I think that if we do pop back above the 7,700 zone, I'll get a little bit more excited with some higher levels. Daredevil Dave, good morning. As always, happy to see you here. Happy to see everybody else, of course, here and tuning in. So I hope you're all having a wonderful start of Wednesday, guys. So yeah, I hope I'm not boring you too much in general. But well, probably if I would be boring you, then you wouldn't be tuning in. So yeah, but so in that case, thank you very much. Maybe I'm doing something good here. So yeah, that's the game plan with the FTSE 100. And to be honest, in terms of the downside, I think I'll take a very conservative approach here, and I'll wait for a break of this upside line in order to go lower. US dollar. There we go. Boom. Mission accomplished. 105.87. We've created a new high for this year. So we started off the year somewhere around here, and as you can see, we cleared this previous highest point of this year. And yep, now look, the question is, can we go further north? Well, just bear with me one moment. I want to see if this is actually yeah, so this is the scenario that I was talking about previously. I was talking about this idea here. So we cleared this territory, and we nicely pushed higher, and there we go. We cleared this downside line, and beautifully done, beautifully worked out. This was posted back in August. Yeah. Look, at this point, I think that given that we have already reached this 105.87, in general, I would like to take a pause. And although I do like this level right here, the 107.15, but I get it, it's quite far, and maybe we could see some lower levels first before, let's say, going towards that 107.15 territory. And look, if you want to go to the downside, I think that the opportunity here could lie from on a break of this upside line and a drop below the 105.44 zone right there. Jumping into gold. Okay, gold. Look at this. Look at this beautiful thing here. So it cleared my upside support line. It talked about this. I said to you that if we do clear the upside support line, I will go lower towards that psychological 1900 level, which we managed to violate perfectly. So now, we also cleared actually the 1900 zone and we stayed below it. So yeah, that's something that I am keeping a close eye on here. For now, as long as we stay below that 1900 zone, I am leaning towards the downside, towards that 1885 zone, something like that. Because again, maybe this is gonna reach that area. But look, I'm not rushing into things because at the same time, maybe we have ourselves something like a channel or something like that. So, or maybe it's actually more of a falling wedge pattern. But look, depends on how you draw it. Maybe you draw it this way. Maybe but again, that's already broken, so not valid. So most likely it's somewhere from around here. So, but again, is this the correct way to draw it? Is this not like something like a falling channel? Well, it still could be. So look, I think that maybe it's better to get rid of this bigger one. I think I'm gonna just keep it short term. So as you can see, we are in a falling channel pattern, and my question right now is, look, how much more can we go? And I think that although I do like this 1885 territory, which I just mentioned, I think I'll have to accept the fact that if this is a falling channel of some sort, then basically we could see a test of this lower side of the falling channel here without reaching the 1885 zone, and then kind of just rebound and push back up. So in other words, something like this still could be possible. So for all those buyers, I mean, if you are very eager to jump in, then I would say just be a little bit more on the careful side. Let's say if this doesn't go all the way towards this lower side of the falling channel, that's fine actually, because maybe it will decide to jump back above the 1900 zone. And if it does that, okay, yes, I will go to the upside again, and I will start maybe considering slightly higher levels. Silver. Look, we're near this key support zone near the 22.74 territory. Look, so far so good. I said to you before that if we do fall below this 22.95 territory, I'll go lower. And my first target got reached here. And now my next target is this upside support line drawn from the low of the 22nd of June. So in other words, in order for me to go lower, I need to see a drop below this 22.74 area, and then we'll take it from there. For the upside, I need to see a nice good push above this these three EMAs. To be honest, I mean, I know that we could be missing out on a lot of territory, but to be honest, I'd rather stay safe than sorry. Copper, very quickly on this one. So I haven't looked at copper for quite a while, but why I wanted to pick up on this one, because again, we are near key support zone, this 3.62. Roughly, or 3.63. If we clear that, then yes, then I will start aiming lower, and I'll aim for the lowest point of May. And let me just put an arrow right here. So this is my next scenario. So if we do clear this, let me just again highlight this area. If we do clear this one, then yep, this may attract more sellers into the game, and we could see a nice drift towards that 3.54 territory right there. In terms of the upside, if you're looking for some higher levels, well, certainly there are a bunch of trend lines to consider, like for example this one right there. Yeah, something like that maybe, but this is actually no. You know what? It's like trying to see something where it's not. So, trying to see something where there's maybe it's not there. So I think that the easier option is to just wait for a push above the 3.71 zone right there. And if we get that break, then yes, great, more buyers could join in. So long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, then yes, 3.71 is something to keep an eye on. So this could be a nice good target for some bulls. But yeah, at the moment we're closer to this key support barrier, so let's see if we can clear it. Oil is jumped back up. It didn't fall and didn't stay below my 88 territory, so that's that was seen as a bullish sign, and it broke my downside line. So there we go. This is exactly what I was talking about yesterday in my morning video. That if we do break this downside line, this short-term tentative downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 19th of September, then yes, I will go a little bit to the upside, and I will see a push towards that. We could see a push back towards that 92.42. That's my simplistic approach right now for the upside. Bitcoin Cash. So very quickly on this one as well. Bitcoin Cash is still stuck. I said to you that while we remain in between these hurdles here, the barrier, the 225 zone, and this upside line, then yeah, I'm just observing the price action. I'm not really doing anything because I don't really like this when it's stuck like this, so it's a no man's land. I need to see a pop above this barrier right here in order to consider some higher levels. For downside, yes, a break of this upside support line drawn from the low of the 10th of June might do the trick for a few more sellers. Ethereum, again, similar story. We're stuck, so we're not really touching this one until we see a clearance here of this either the lower side, or should I say the upside support line, or the downside line, the downside resistance line. So at the moment, if we do get that break below this upside line, then yes, great, potentially more sellers could join in. If we break the downside line, potentially more buyers could join in. So like I said, I'm not trying to, but again, with the upside, keeping an eye on that, not only the 1600 level, but also the 1620 zone right here, which I looked at previously. Previously, it acted as a good area of support. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, and potentially this could act as a good area of resistance. But if that gets cleared, my next target is the 50-day EMA. Now let's jump into the Forex world, and Forex, okay, AUDUSD, quick update on this one. We did see weighted inflation creeping up in Australia, weighted mean CPI creeping up a little bit higher. In a way, you could say that this should help the Australian dollar, because again, it could strengthen it a little bit. But I think that at this point, it's the opposite. We have a much stronger US dollar, and that's what we're seeing here. Now, in general, this is kind of coming in line with my idea, which I've talked about yesterday. I said to you, in general, not only yesterday, I mentioned this when I was covering AUDUSD, that look, we have kind of a somewhat of a typical technical rule setup, because we are in a range right now, yes, but the prevailing trend was to the downside and before entering this range. So in a way, according to all the TA rules, technical analysis rules, then a break through the lower side should follow. But again, that's not guaranteed. There is still a percentage of error in that theory, but I would say more than 50%. That's the case is that yes, it breaks, for example, in this case, lower. But again, a confirmation break is still needed. So without it, you cannot really assume, straight away. Maybe it's going to rebound from here and push back up. So from this lower side of the range and then push back up. So, you don't know. But in general, the fact that we're also trading below the EMAs here, that's also something to consider. So yeah, that's the situation with the with AUDUSD. With the downside, with the upside, well, you can see my arrow is from the upper side of this this range, but I think let me just put this one. There we go. But I think that we could already start looking at some higher levels if we do climb above the 50-day EMA. AUDJPY. AUDJPY, this one here is still, I'm still watching it because, again, I need that confirmation pop above the 95.86 territory in order to go higher. For the downside and break of this upside line drawn from the low of the 24th of March is required, and also a drop below the 94.54 territory right there. That's the same game plan. I'm not really doing anything else. NZDCHF, guys. So we've cleared. I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but look, we've reached my target. My target was this downside line. Okay, that's fine, and we cleared it. And now I need to relook at everything here. So basically, if we do stay above this downside line, then yes, my next target is the 200-day EMA. So basically, as long as we remain above this broken downside line, yes, my next target is the 200-day EMA. In order to consider slightly lower levels at this point, I would say drop below the 100-day EMA is required. Then we will aim for this upside support line, which in a way is a little bit on the tentative side, don't get me wrong, but maybe we can actually draw it just this way. I think we'll stick to this easy kind of trend line, and if we do fall below the 100-day EMA, that's from where I'm gonna consider some slightly lower levels. USDJPY. So we cleared my 148.85 territory even yesterday. I mean, on Monday we reached it. On Tuesday we cleared it and we stayed above it, and we're continuing to trade above that hurdle. Look, I am still aiming for that 150 zone. That's a very, very important psychological level, and everybody's here still waiting for that BOJ intervention to see, you know, at what point they will jump in. But yeah, this point, I think that it's difficult to actually aim higher. I mean, in general, it could reverse any time. Excuse me. I need that kind of confirmation. I really want to see that 150 getting tested. I think that I'm not alone in this market. I think that everybody else is also looking for that 150 test. So let's wait and see. But if somehow it starts falling back below the 148.46 territory right here, then yes, I will consider maybe a bit of a retracement here. USDCAD popping above the 1.35. There we go. So that means that the bulls are not giving up, and we are seeing a nice push higher. Now, this is where it's kind of contradicting a little bit with the idea of oil. Because oil popped and the USDCAD popped as well. So, but I think, like I said, although Canadian dollar was on the strong side as well, but I think that the US dollar was much more attractive to buyers just because the stock market was declining, and the USD was seen as a safe haven, and because it wasn't. Neither the yen nor CHF kind of took that role. Yesterday, it was the US dollar that was seen more as a safe haven. So basically, for now, as long as we remain above the 1.35 zone, I will continue targeting the upside. For the downside, I need to see a drop back below the 1.35 territory and back below the 50-day EMA, here shown as the red line. And then I will consider a move lower. US dollar against the Mexican peso. So we popped back with the 17.40 zone. So that's great for the bulls. So yeah, I'm aiming for that 200-day EMA again. To be honest, not much excitement here, but the fact that we climbed back up to the 1740 zone, yes, I am aiming for that 200-day EMA for now. And then I'll take it from there. The 200-day EMA is roughly around that 17.66 territory. So yeah, at this point, yes, I'm looking at that. For the downside, Well, this is where I need to shift my arrow here for the downside. I would like to see a drop somewhere below this territory right there, the 1717 zone. So if we do get that drop, at the same time, we could drop below the 50-day EMA. So, and maybe we could also clear this upside line. Who knows? GBPUSD. So we had a fantastic slide yesterday. Look at this. I talked about this pair. I said to you that if we do fall below that 1.22 territory, my next target is the 1.2182. We reached that one, and then we cleared all that in general, and we stayed below it. So in a way, this seems like it really wants to go somewhere towards this territory here, so we're towards that 1.2010 or maybe the psychological 120 zone. But again, we are careful, we're not rushing into things. Maybe there could be a bit of a retracement back up before going all the way towards that 1.20 zone. But again, it's a good target. Let's see if we continue to trade below that 1.2182, then yes, I'm slowly aiming for that 1.20 initially 10 zone, and then 1.2020, or sorry, 1.20 psychological 1.20 level. EURGBP. EURGBP is still flirting with that upper side of the range here. I talked about this, so I said to keep an eye on it, because in order to go higher, a break of it is required. So a push above the 0.87 territory would be ideal. If I get that, great. Then my next target is the 0.8760 zone. For the downside, I would like to see actually a drop somewhere below this little hurdle right here, this key support zone, the current lowest point of this week, near the 0.8668. And if I get that, then I'll consider a larger correction to the downside, because don't forget that we're still trading above this upside line drawn from the low the 23rd of August. But again, I think all eyes are right now on the upper side of this range. If it surrenders to the bulls, then yes, my next target is the 0.8760. EURCHF. So I've talked about this one, and yesterday I said to you that, look, I need that pop. I need that pop above this downside line. So that's what I got. And yeah, great. So far, so good. I'm targeting the 200-day EMA for now. So not much to say. To be honest, the same game plan is valid here. For the downside, well, again, the same story is I need to see a break of this steep upside line, and then I will go a little bit lower. EURUSD. So this one is a pain in the bottom, as you can see here. So basically, my target got reached, 1.0550 for 51, or let's say roughly we reached that target. But that's, to be honest, I'll take that 550. That, yeah, 1.0555. Beautiful number got reached. So we rebounded now. So my question is, can we see a larger correction to the upside? Well, or actually, will we clear this territory and we'll go just lower? But look, I think that the easier option is to keep an eye on that 1.0555. If we fall below it, my next target is the lowest point of March of this year, near the 1.0516, and slightly below it we do have the lowest point of January of this year, near the 1.0483. So basically, as you can see, we have approached the low, or almost approached the lowest point of this year. So to be honest, don't be surprised if we actually create a new low for this year by the end of this year. But yeah, let's not rush into things. Maybe actually it will correct from here a little bit higher, back up. Maybe it'll go back to test this downside line, and if it breaks it, then yes, I will consider some higher levels. But in the meantime, any throwback here, any pullback here could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. So just keep that in mind. And if you've missed the drop here, look, I talked about this in the beginning of this week. I said to you that if we do fall below this 1.0635, I'll go lower. And yes, if we do kind of drop, we already dropped it, and if you missed it, basically now I wouldn't say that you need to chase it. Just wait for it a little bit, and then we'll take it from there. Because again, maybe I need to see maybe a bit of a rebound of some sort here, so that's why I'm not rushing into things yet. But in general, I am bearish. I'm aiming for this 1.0483, but at this point, I'm just thinking that there might be a little bit of a correction at some point. Maybe it's going to be from here. Maybe it's going to be from this territory, when this 1.0516 or something like that. But again, I'm trying to play the waiting game right now, so I'm waiting for that little corrective move back to the upside, and then I'll see what I can do with another maybe sell. So, but again, like I said, at this point, I don't have a clear level, and nothing I don't have is just my mission accomplished, because I reached my target. So at this point, I'm just observing the price action. So yeah, guys, that's it for this session. Look, yesterday we saw some numbers that came out from the US, the new home sales and CB consumer confidence. Both of them fell. And of course, keep your eyes on other US data today. But I think the main ones are going to be, main data will be on Thursday and Friday, both from the US and from Europe. So yeah, keep your eyes on the economic calendar, guys. Yes, I hope you're going to have a fantastic trading day. Stay safe, guys. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose, and everything will be fine. I'll see you tomorrow, 6 o'clock GMT time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.